What is a assault shotgun in New York State? Are semi-automatic shotguns legal for you to own, possess, shoot? In this video, we're gonna talk about it. Let's go. First of all, I wanna go over the shotgun we're gonna be going over today, and then we're gonna talk about the gun laws in New York about semi-automatic shotguns. Specifically, do you need any special permits to purchase them, and how effective are they? If you haven't already, hit the like, hit the subscribe, support a New Yorker behind enemy lines all the way up in the cold north upstate New York. We're gonna be going over showcasing the beautiful Browning A5 Light 12. This was created in Belgium. This is not a reproduction. This shotgun holds, I believe, 4 + 1 in the chamber. These firearms are iconic in firearms history. This having a reciprocating barrel. The barrel actually, if you can see, this is how this firearm recoils. It might be a little bit more picky on the types of ammo you shoot from it. Beautiful gun. Legality. Let's talk about, are semi-automatic shotguns legal? What's considered an assault shotgun? Made up term these communist states have crowned. So I would hope that semi-automatic shotguns are illegal because I'm showcasing one. So let's get into what the state defines as legal, not legal, and what do you need to purchase this. So semi-automatic shotguns are legal, granted that they don't fall into the assault shotgun category. What makes a shotgun an assault shotgun according to New York State? And the things that make it an assault shotgun might surprise you because it's completely different than what would make a pistol an assault pistol, or what would make a rifle an assault rifle, according to New York State standards. The features that would make a shotgun a assault shotgun include the following. It is semi-automatic, and you notice the difference with the beginning portion of assault shotgun is different than assault pistol and assault rifle. With assault pistol and assault rifle, it says it has to be semi-automatic and have the ability to take a detachable magazine. They only include in here, the first item is semi-automatic. So if you want to have all scary features, it has not to be semi-automatic. So there's no way you can get rid of the detachable magazine portion to have some of the other banned features, right? For example, with a semi-automatic rifle, if it is semi-automatic and the ability to take a detachable magazine, if you get rid of the ability to be semi-automatic, then you can have the banned features. If you get rid of the ability to take a detachable magazine, you can have the banned features. There's two prefaces you have to get rid of. Or if you don't get rid of those two prefaces, so you want to have the semi-automatic and the detachable magazine portion, you have to get rid of all the other banned features. So you have to get rid of the two up front or all the and features down below, which would be featureless. Getting rid of the pistol grip, collapsing stock, threads on the barrel, no foregrip, etc. You can't do that in a AR pistol because one of the banned features is 50 ounces, so you either have to make it bolt action or fixed magazine, which is a gray area because New York State doesn't define it in detail like California does. With the assault shotgun, they say it is semi-automatic and has one of the following military characteristics. Folding or telescoping stock, thumbhole stock, second hand grip or protruding grip that can be held by the non-shooting hand, and listen to this, fixed magazine capacity in excess of 7 rounds, and an ability to take a detachable magazine. So as long as it's semi-automatic and has one of those features, it can be considered an assault shotgun. So if it's semi-automatic, doesn't have a pistol grip, doesn't have collapsing stock, doesn't have a foregrip on it, it can be your Elmer Fudd hunting rifle. If the fixed magazine capacity is over 7 rounds, it's an assault shotgun. If it's semi-automatic and has a detachable magazine, it's an assault shotgun, even if you get rid of all the features. So if you get rid of the semi-automatic portion, then you can have bad features. But if you want it to be semi-automatic, it can't have one of the bad features. So you either have to go with one or the other. You can't have everything in one. New York State's one of the states that you gotta pick and choose. You don't get all your freedoms, you get some. Even though this was one of the states that gained the freedom for the whole entire country with the battles that were fought here. So how is this shotgun not an assault shotgun? Because this doesn't hold more than 7 rounds. This has a fixed magazine capacity of 4 + 1. This doesn't relate to pump action or bolt action shotguns because it has to be semi-automatic for you not to be able to have those banned features. If it's not semi-automatic, that's a different story. We're talking about semi-automatic shotguns. This has a fixed stock, and this does not have any type of grip that can be held by a non-shooting hand. No folding stock, but it is semi-automatic. So to reiterate, if you want a semi-automatic shotgun, it can't have more than 7 round fixed magazine capacity, does not have a detachable magazine, doesn't have a folding stock, telescoping stock, and doesn't have any type of foregrip that can be held by the non-shooting hand. We're gonna showcase 3 different types of ammo today on paper targets. You got your bird shot, your standard shot, low brass that has a bunch of little tiny BBs for small game shooting, to target practice, to clay pigeons. You have your buckshot. This is what you're going to use for self-defense. You have, depending on the size, you have roughly little 9mm pellets, balls coming out, bigger balls at the bad guy. If someone gets hit with this from close range, they're probably not going to make it. Your slug. This is a mini slug. This is not going to reliably feed in a semi-automatic for the most part, but we're going to single load these and show you just on the premise. So now this is like a 50 caliber slug. That's why they call it a slug. So instead of little tiny pellets or little tiny balls, you have a giant ball filling the whole entire diameter of that barrel. This would be good for self-defense, longer range shooting, to hunting bigger game. And there's also different types of shotguns. You have smoothbore and you have rifled shotguns. You're going to be limited to what you can shoot out of rifled shotguns, for the most part slugs, but with a smoothbore you'll be able to shoot all three. It's just with the slugs you're not going to be able to, you know, get rifle accuracy from long range. With being a shotgun, we're going to be shooting from closer up. So let's show you the difference on target here. So we're going to start off with a bird shot. You're standing from about 20-30 feet, so you can see the little tiny balls, and you might ask yourself, what the hell are these two bigger holes? Where that is the plastic inserts inside of these shells to keep all of those pellets held together. If you're shooting on a range, you're gonna wanna pick those up, keep the environment clean, especially if you're on private property and up north where we like to keep things clean. Now we're gonna be trying the buckshot. So we're gonna try it from similar distance here. Holy shit. Look at this, like 9mm size holes. So let's actually shoot a 9mm and compare it here. So that's the 9mm, and these are the buckshots. 9mm buckshot. So you're getting, depending on the pellets, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe a couple more inside of one, hitting roughly a hand size grouping from about 15-20 feet. Last but not least, we're gonna try the Aguila mini shot shells here, the slugs. We're gonna see what kind of hole this thing makes, and let's aim for the head this time. So before we shoot the slug, I just want to talk about something that should be common sense, but sometimes isn't common. Mistakes happen. So I got maybe what you call a Browning A5 thumb. The bolt release on the Browning A5 didn't want to catch the mini shot shell when I dropped it in, so it got hung up. So from the bottom, I kind of pushed it up with my middle finger, and the freaking bolt closed right on my middle finger. Let's try this slug here. So you can see where the slug went in, compared to the buckshot, compared to the 9mm, kind of shade the top of his head. So you can see the difference between the little tiny pellets, buckshot, you got a 9mm, and then you got the wads that come out, and then you got the slug. And ladies and gentlemen, do you need a permit to purchase one of these? Actually, no. I thought you used to have, after the horrific Buffalo shooting, the assault weapons ban didn't stop that shooting, so then they added on more things that you had to be 21 years old and get a semi-automatic endorsement, which is pretty much the same requirements as getting your pistol permit, which requires you to have 4 character references, take an 18-hour course with 2 hours of live fire training, pay for fingerprints, go through all this bureaucratic hullabaloo just to be able to exercise your rights and purchase something as simple as a Ruger 1022. Something that wasn't included into that is a semi-automatic shotgun that's not considered a assault shotgun. So according to resources for gun owners on the New York site, but it isn't required, so you do not need a permit to purchase a semi-automatic shotgun that is legal in New York State. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up for today. I want to shoot 2 more buckshots and a birdshot just to show the more recoil differences. You're going to get a lot more recoil with buckshot and slug than you're going to get with birdshot, as well as there being different brass types, like, you know, full brass like they used to use back in the old days, just the whole case is brass, high brass. There's all different types of shotgun shells. Obviously, New York State bans certain types of like incendiary ammunition, stuff like that, which I think Dragon's Breath would be considered as. I could be wrong, I've never looked into it. You can get old school shotguns like this, but you could also get more tactical looking shotguns with some of your bells and whistles on it, as long as it doesn't violate one of those assault weapon shotgun features that were included in that. And also check your local restrictions. This is for upstate New York. This is not for New York City. But the things I talk about is if you live in actual upstate New York, not in one of these communistic areas that are more communist than the actual state itself, this is going to apply to you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed, leave a comment. Tell me what kind of shotgun you got, if you got a shotgun, and I will see you on the next one. One of the things with this reciprocating is if you don't have a proper shoulder on it, it's not going to cycle. So we're going to start with birdshot, followed up by the Italian buckshot. Cycle that.